It got hot in here. Let me get some music going while I wait. Hopefully y'all come back with me. Woo, we taking a break. That was like halftime. Y'all, I've been wanting to. Cartier body in a Rari. Diamonds all over my body. Shining all over my body. Cardi got your bitch. Let's go. Mr. Official, you up? The brain. I'm going insane. I drop a check on the chain. Fuck up a check in the plane. Cardi took your man, you upset. Cardi got rich, they upset. All right. We got more to do. I hope Che came back in. I hope Ill Will came back in. And any other man that's out there that I know, y'all, we're going to jump in since we got time. If anybody else, women, men, want to get in here, let's do it. Because we're here at the table, family. We might as well make it worth our while. I'm bringing back in Paul because he has so much insight. And we are appreciative of that. Mr. Official. So we're bringing back in, we call him Mr. Official, a.k.a. There he is, the man of the hour. You got us on hour number 2, Paul.
Well, I mean, it's all according to your creative design. You the mastermind of this group. I'm just supporting cast out here.
Yeah, listen, I appreciate the support. And the people came back to support because we really are appreciating your perspective. And it is so interesting because I'm just warming it up while they're coming back. Mm-hmm. Just like the men said earlier, they're different type of men, they're different type of women. And it was good to hear from different kind of men to see where everybody's perspectives at. And so I was just going there with you. Do you remember the last question I asked you?
I think the people may not. Can we start from scratch and recap?
Yeah, we can. Do you remember it?
Oh, you just don't remember. My bad. Oh, my bad. Why now I'm supposed to hold it down? Yes. I think that you were saying something to the degree of how. Yes, how can we heal? How do we get to a space of healing? I think I was saying some words and we was talking about communication.
Well, and I think I was talking about cheating, I think we were talking about. Oh, I know what it was.
We hadn't come to that just yet.
It was smart. And it was
yeah. Now, see, every time you do that, I'm gonna be like, bang! I'm gonna hit you.
That's what we gotta do, bro. I need.
I'm gonna hit you with them Malcolm Littles this time. No, that's that.
I need my equal on it. Come on, boo. So what I'm asking you is, how do you all become accountable to it? So the question was, we were talking about men and women relationships. Hello, if anybody came in, we're talking about men and women relationships and Black love being revolutionary. And I'm trying to challenge these men to say, who should they be? Who can they be to us in a revolutionary world? So my question was, how does non-monogamy help us build strong communities? Or can we build strong non-monogamous families? How do we think that affects the love revolution?
Well, I think to your point with those specific words, I think what I said was something to the space between the word fidelity and that of monogamy. I think any relationship that has structure, has communication, has language and agreement, like has contractual capacity, like we agree this is what it looks like, that is the space in which fidelity is fulfilled. Okay. And just on that point, not pushing one side or the other, monogamy is one specific expression of fidelity. Okay. So if you and me say it's just you and me, then that's what's up. Okay. I think the only point that I was trying to make is that.
See, that sounded good. Like women really just want to hear it's me and you, and that's what's up. All this extra becomes like, it becomes deep, but like, Well, go ahead, I'm listening. But,
I don't personally have it that women are not interested in positioning themselves to like be free to love who they love, see who they want to see. I actually don't have that at all. My experience has allowed me to meet several women who actually are in something is what we would call non-traditional. And I guess the whole thing is I'm not trying to advocate any one way. I'm just saying that we are literally like this conversation is taboo. Like most brothers, even if that's how they feel, and especially most sisters, even if that's how they feel, ain't about to see who's down with it. Like there's a fear of judgment and there may be even a fear of like some type of acceptance of self that says maybe I'm not built to be traditionally like everything else. And then maybe it's all just exploration because we don't know yet. I say monogamy relationships of any kind are good and healthy and can be the cornerstone of the foundation or the revolution if they're done like with communication and have actual language and agreement. Like, what is we doing here? Or I guess we got to call it that. You know, I think a lot of people are just eager to hold on to a title that somehow is supposed to like come with instructions. Like, because you're my boyfriend, here's what that looks like. Or because we are married, here's how it looks, when actually the only relationship that exists is that which you've created with your partner. And but what,
Agree with
in the tradition and who we come from. So let me also give all praise. Like, my parents have been married for 43 years. Like, I only got one example of what a Black family looks like up front. You see what I'm saying? However, that also gives me a perspective of how much things don't look like that. Like, actually, no discredit to anyone, but if I was looking for somebody to be like my mom, like, it'd be over for everybody. You feel me? And not because of how she take care of me, but how she, I'm just saying, like,
what does it be over for everybody?
What I'm saying is, if I could only be in a relationship that looks like my parents, then I probably would have passed the point of hope by now. You know, they were together in college, been together 40-some years. I got to live till I'm 80-something to do anything 40 years. You see what I'm saying? Like, I got to push. So I guess what I'm saying is those qualities, that type of interaction, that language, and not even just to the degree of how good it is, but some of the things that maybe don't seem like they fit how I am.
I'm curious what people out there saying while you're speaking, because we took a left that I wasn't even seeing. Let's see, I see marriage and relationships are like DNA. No one is alike. True. Everyone has their own preference. Communication just needs to happen so you can know if you want to be down or not. Hey, y'all. Mrs. Jones is too dope to follow.
That's my sister right there talking about my mama. We already know.
I know.
One time.
We know. Listen, I think I respect the perspective, and I think honesty is everything. And I think monogamy does exist, like you said, because two people can decide what that situation looks like and still feel committed to each other and still feel honored by each other. So I think what you speak of, and cheating is different, right? Because cheating is you've done something outside of the realm
of what we agreed on, of what we said is happening.
Yeah, so I don't even think, even as you took that left, which I respect, that's not even it's not even the left that I'm talking about, because there's a left that lets us down. Say, even if you were in a special situation like you speak of, if you went outside of that, then you kill it. You kill the vibe that we got. We created this circle of space and you violated it. And I'm trying to figure out how we become accountable to each other. What is it that we can do to strengthen these relationships as we move forward, so that we are all maturing and just honoring whatever it is that's set in front of us?
Yeah, I think that is just right in what we're saying. I think fear is totally at the base of all failure. And I think that what we would rather do as human beings, and I can only speak from a man, but as human beings, I think that there is a fear to even have the conversations when there's time. Like, I'd rather put myself into a box that fits and that can keep you here than to give you the opportunity to, like, accept that I have a view about things, or that there's something that I want to desire, and then, like, give you the opportunity to choose. That's actually all there is. And I mean, I don't know, I don't speak as an expert, but I know that what I found with women is that truthfulness and honesty actually is worth more weight. It weighs heavily, or more heavily, than any other factor that actually exists. And I'll let the ladies deal with that. But I think you don't have to have anything material wise if you have honesty and if you have communication. I think actually, but that's a gamble. That's rolling the dice, Angie.
What's
we're sitting here doing good right now. Like, we all sitting here talking nice and everything. I better not say nothing I don't want to mess this up. You see what I'm saying? So that's the wall, though. That's not authentic. There you go.
Love love is the absence of fear. So when we get in situations and we start saying we love someone, my best friends, I can call them and tell them anything, and they gonna hear it, whether they agree with it or not. They see it through loving eyes, and that's the difference when you're talking to somebody and trying to share these things with people who don't maybe see it through loving eyes. You know, so I think we can't be afraid of the truth.
Yeah,
because
and I
that's
think.
where
Oh,
the
sorry, Beth.
What'd you
Pardon
say?
my interruption. I said pardon my interruption. You weren't finished. Please go ahead.
Oh no, I just don't think we can be afraid of the truth, of our truths, of what we want, what we need to be happy, what meets our needs, and let people know that without shame or fear. And if they're not with it, then we need to we gotta get, you know.
But what are we talking but now the possibility that exists is that respect can always remain intact. Possibility in the future still can be there. You know what I'm saying? But like and so I'm saying in a space where I'm up front and you know where I am, what I'm not, and even to the point you can say it's not for me, right? There's something that gets to remain between us as human beings. You say, well, there's somebody who didn't lie to me. Like at least he said what he wanted. At least I got to say it wasn't what I wanted. And at least we got to agree to disagree. And we didn't actually enter a space where there was like a cheating incident or, well, a mistrust, a dishonesty. I don't know why I can't, well, it's that Jack. But a space where like I've done something other than what I said I would do. And so I think, you know, it's the same in creating any traditional form of relationship.
Yeah.
You know, people get married and I think that, well, in the movie, you see these vows, and they're like the traditional handbook vows. You know, here's what we're going to do. Here's the playbook.
Yeah.
I think that's probably like chapter 1.
Yeah.
I think actually that's chapter 1. We talked about 3 years or something, you know, before we was on this, before we somewhere talking about walking down.
Why they do it to us? You there? You there?
You had a chance to establish trust through through a little testing. You know, we've lived some life together, and there's been some exes trying to holler at you, or, you know, hey, big head came while we was on a date through the text message, right? And you got to see how I played that. And I might have had a conversation with you, and you had a chance to build that. What did we say before? We talked about building trust. Like it's, you know, and it's a thing that just, it starts and then it continues. Like, and if you ever find yourself in a point where you've betrayed that trust, now it's out the window. Now possibility is gone. You know,
but
all you had to do was say.
I honestly don't think that. Let me chime in, because women are forgiving. And I know I've forgiven 1,000 times. I don't think we give up on things that we love easily. I don't give up on people that I love easily. And so I understand what love is. I understand imperfect people. So the concept that like, if I'm honest, I'm not gonna be loved back, or if I make a mistake, then everything's out the window. I don't find that to be true. Where my mentality is, I will listen to other women as well too. I think you guys got to give us a chance to trust you. I think what women want, and I'm gonna let some other people speak too, because now we got time. But you know, I know as myself as a woman, I want situations. Yeah, I want a relationship that's honest and open, and the details of that are a moot point. I don't care what people are doing within the confinements of that, but to just deal with everybody as hey big head feels like I ain't no big head. Like, you can't deal with everybody like hey big head.
And you know,
that's not respectful to who everybody is, and I don't think that that's helpful to anything. But maybe there needs to be a hey big head chat group, so you know all the people that are interested in just being big headed. You know, because some people might not mind it. But,
that's what I'm. That's I agree, Angie. I think that's what I'm saying. Like for those, like you should align with people of which your goals and objectives align. And so let me ask you a question, because it's something that I think is interesting. You said to give you a chance to be resilient.
I didn't say that.
No, I was saying, you said give you a chance to, like, women are forgiving. We don't give up easily. Give you a chance. So resilient, just meaning maybe something happened and now we got to try to work. But what could a man actually do to restore your trust in him? once it's gone? Like once he's cheated, like what could he actually do that is going to set us on a trajectory to be back where we were or ahead?
Well, I can speak from experience. I have definitely dealt with infidelity before, and I have still been with that person after. People earn your trust back, you know, because if you are honest, everybody's human and people make mistakes. And I'm not saying it's not hurtful or uncomfortable for a moment, but did me and him get through that? Yeah. And were we able to stay together for years after that? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, what
But
did it
was
look
he
like?
sorry? Huh?
What did it look like? Sorry to interrupt, but like, what did that
It
look
was
like?
beautiful. We had a
I mean, no,
beautiful.
like, what is the action? What is the actual action step? Was there a way that he checked in differently? Was there a way that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
made
There's an
something available so he
incubation
gave you a
period.
cell phone? Like, what
Yeah,
did the
there's an
steps look like?
incubation period
Yeah, I
where
need to know what the steps are because I feel like in that conversation, I think once there's been a slight or an indifferent, and you know, actually, that's a very specific thing. When someone feels slighted, you know, it's a different type of offense. And when resentment comes in at a certain level, I think that's another space where dishonesty takes place in relationship, like whether or not we actually trying to get through this, or if we just don't know what the play is yet next, or if I'm just trying to wait till I give me a one up, like who knows? And definitely for the aggressor, for the transgressor, like that projection, like what happens, like man, you might not even did nothing, right? But because you forgive me, like bro, why, for real, you
But
know?
I mean,
And now he don't.
again, if we're here to listen to each other, then I understand what it could seem like. But all I can do is present myself as one woman, and I've given you an example that forgiveness is possible and it's important. And a lot of us, if I speak for myself, have had to forgive our fathers, have had to forgive, you know, the men in our life. I know I have been in a place of where I had to forgive to find some peace in certain areas of my life, and so I almost come to the table unfortunately expecting the disappointment and prepared to make adjustment where need be until I find the right thing that fits. I almost don't even come into it expecting some perfect situation that's not, that doesn't have some challenges attached to it. But I find that people that are good to you, that you feel have your best interest at heart, that I heard some other people say changed behavior. There is that incubation period where everything's jacked up, and it's like, I don't. But people that love you pursue you. People that love you find a way to say, I'm sorry. Because if I messed up with my best friend, not even a man, I don't want us to be at odds. And sometimes I'm wrong. And I don't have no problem calling my best friend and saying, I didn't handle that the right way. I'm sorry. Because my day ain't the same if I can't talk to them. So I find that sometimes when you really love somebody, you start to make those adjustments until y'all get it right. But I could be wrong. Let's hear from the people down there. Somebody said facts. That's real. Truth, right? Like, I think women want to love y'all. Black women want to love black men. They want to be loved back in a safe way, you know, and it doesn't feel safe to feel like you're in a situation with, and everybody can be big headed. Like, I ain't the big head here. Hold on. You know, yeah, I think we want to feel some type of safety. And I think as, so, you know, it
does
that
look like a title or a certain type of structure then? Because I think there's
safety means that whatever we've agreed on, whatever makes us both, I won't feel safe just because you agreed on it and you told me that's what it was. But if we agree on it, I feel safe because, I like this. This works for me. This works for him. We good, and we got these arrangements, and we're good. But if it's not that, if it's one-sided and somebody says, well, this is just how it is or something, then it's not. It doesn't.
That's not what I'm talking about at all. That's
no, I'm just
nowhere. And let me, you know, I have a saying in my own personal life, like we got to protect the vibranium. So let's get to the point we got to protect the vibranium. So when you talk about Black love being key to being revolutionary, like I definitely feel like somewhere in our DNA as Black people, we all definitely have something that's connected to like procreating and furthering Black people, right? So I think there's a balance between feeling like we got to adhere to the traditions of relationship that we've seen, many of which have been either functional or dysfunctional. There's a way that we see in relationship that we feel we got to be. But at the same time, I think men want what you want. I just think that
They want to
we
feel
haven't
safe.
learned. I don't think we. Oh yes, absolutely. You now, come
Now,
on
how
now.
can we make them
Sorry,
feel
fellas,
safe?
but well, it's not gonna look the same way, of course. I think what makes me feel safe is feeling like I'm seen and understood. It feels like you know my unprotected places, and I've seen you be mindful of protecting them.
Mm.
You know those spaces of vulnerability because I'm having authentic interaction with you, and you're not going to take that and twist it on me. And we're talking about like in a personal space. I ain't talking about cheating or whatever.
No, I understand.
You know, but what I'm saying is, I know that I feel that I can be that guy with you. Mm-hmm. And whatever's between us is between us. Mm-hmm. And I think that men are human beings. I think human beings strive to have that connection. Like whether it's somewhere in the back, if it's somewhere in the back, we ain't figured out how to articulate it, right? It's there. Yeah. And so it's really back to what you said, I think, about fear. I think, people have not embraced love to a point to like let go of fear. Wow. And so a lot of conversations are not happening. A lot of words are not being said that could give us access to each other in a way that would cause like a revolution in how like Black love is.
That sounded so exciting, Paul. Like when you said the word revolution, it felt like that's what I want. I want something that feels revolutionary and honest. And I do think you are so right. I do know you can tell when you're in a relationship with a man who's not letting his guards down, who's not comfortable. And those don't work. They never work. And sometimes it's just instinctive. People trust who they want to trust and they don't trust you know what I mean? Like sometimes
I'm sorry. On the flip side of that, I think what I experience is that, okay, so guys, you can tell when they haven't let their guard down, they're like tough. For women, it'd be all open and cool till you step on it. Like that trigger is when you see what's not, it'll be like, oh shit, I didn't even mean to be over here messing up like that. Or I'm sorry, but I think there are still places that are.
But the thing is,
it takes work.
What sometimes comes across is like women have those triggers. People have triggers. Mm-hmm. So what? Like that, there has to be space for that. It can't be like, see, I knew you was gonna do. Yeah, I'm human. I got mad because you did that. I got mad because I felt slighted there. That doesn't mean I don't like you. That don't mean you can't be cool no more.
Well, I keep interrupting. I'm so sorry, Angie, for interrupting you. I've been drinking.
No, you must have a point. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, in the space of that, it's what is revealed in it. So triggers are fine. People get triggered, but what a trigger does is reveal where trauma exists. Yes. And so in a space where, I got to accept it now because it's out here. But man, ain't been no conversation about that up till now. Like I didn't know till that thing happened. And I know people don't always have access to what their triggers and trauma are. But there we go. So that puts us, now we all back in the same pot. Like, okay, how are we going to get into this space of like learning how to heal ourselves? Like how?
Well, because you got to come to the table knowing that there's work to be done.
Mm-hmm. Like I think finding the table, work.
Like as soon as you show me a piece of yourself that I don't like, I'm out. Or I didn't know you was like that. It's like we come to the place with enough humanity to let people and the person that you care about enough. Because I've been there. The person that you care about enough, you will be patient enough as they're working through their humanity. Because people do have spots that they don't know. It's not like we get on the first date and it's like, well, my triggers are X, Y, and Z. I don't even know you're going to pull that stunt that's going to trigger me. I don't even want to bring that stunt up because I didn't like it the last time. But then when it happens and it triggers, it's like, here we are. And that's your humanity. That's your imperfections. That's what makes you a beautiful person. And you want somebody to see that. Like, oh, I see you're hurting there. How can I heal that with you? How can I make you know that?
That is the space. I think that's the pathway. So that's when you realize there's a blind spot that exists. And that's the pathway to like accessing that communication. So instead of being like, dang, girl, I know you was like that. It might just be like, dang, girl, I ain't know it was like that.
Yeah.
Like, what's up? Where does that? And it might not be the time right now, right? But as for me, the way that I see that is an opportunity. So who knows what to bring it up, but not to run from it, but to go through it as access of getting through it. you know, not
Yes,
around it,
it's there
you
it
know.
is. It's like
And so
getting
can we
through
use our
that.
words and like then keep our emotion in a space where we're still communicating? Not that we
Yeah.
got to be cool, but like, all right, now we in this heightened space of emotion and
Yeah.
energy, and are
Yeah.
we still yet moving forward?
Yeah.
Like that shit takes some practice. You
It
might have to
does.
get
And
a
it takes
coach.
some
You might
maturity
got to
and
get a coach somewhere. You might have had to do some. I mean, it takes some something to
yeah,
get to
well,
that
and it
point.
takes the desire to want to. Most importantly, it important
Mm-hmm.
to do the work, to be, and it's. But as you speak of it, to me, it sounds exciting. It's like, oh, to be loved in that way, because I think what happens sometimes is people perceive. You meet somebody and you have a perception of who they're going to be, whether it's based on a picture, what they got on, where you met them, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then those people have to show up at the real table and get to be human, because what happens is people try to keep on being that representative, and when you get to the table and you human and you find out like, oh, you human, oh, you get mad, oh, you snap, that's the
Mm-hmm.
human, but you've created something that was too hard for somebody to ever, who don't
Exactly.
have triggers, who don't have
Yeah.
moments where they're
Everybody.
gonna
Yeah.
like have to
Absolutely.
apologize. But if you idealize people, that doesn't give them enough space to be human, which is why I
Yeah.
try to come to the table as human as I can, because people will idealize or come with preconceived notions of who you're going to be, and it's important for me to be like, this is who I am. Like, I don't know how that's rocking with you, but like, I get mad about this, I ain't cool with that, but I love doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And and to me it sounds exciting too. Like that's even this conversation where we're like hitting these places, right? And then we're still taking steps. Like that's not, I don't, unfortunately we both know that's not typically what black love looks like every day. And I don't want to say typically, let me not say it. I can't say that. That's too broad stroke. But I think that's what we're talking about now. Is that prevalent, or is that accessible? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I had to grow. Like I did not speak for myself. Like I didn't use my words. I disappeared.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I peace out. On the low too. Like, and it wasn't until like I was frustrated with getting what I had from doing what I was doing.
The results.
Like doing what you're doing is you. In fact, whatever y'all have right now, everybody on here, whatever you have is a result of what you're already doing.
Yeah. And
go all through the boards. You want to go career, relationship, whatever it is, everything you have is a direct result of what you're doing already. And so you already know what that gets you, which is the flip side of it, right? So like I said, when that trigger comes up, that trauma hits or something happens and we got to snap, let's look at it. Why do I have a program response about this thing?
Yeah.
It had to come. I had to practice it somewhere for it to
but
get
most
that good.
people, I think, if we are in a loving space, most people know where it came from. They'll be like, oh, because such and such did that one time. And oh, because daddy did that. It, but it is in this space what you and I just did, right? We just had this conversation and we kept pushing a little further. It's like we're listening to each other and we desire to understand each other, right? So that's the work, not getting to the table where I'm right and you wrong, or you wrong and I'm right, or you perfect and it's getting to the table, two imperfect people, and knowing how beautiful it is to learn how to love imperfect people, because that's what God, here I go. That's what, I mean, if you want to go, that's what love is. Love, when you start looking at First Corinthians, it's loving imperfect people, because it's patient, it's kind, it's all the things we don't feel like being when somebody has challenged that part of you. And I find that real love kicks in when somebody hurts you or cheats on you, and you got to decide.
Because you get to choose, right? Yeah, like perfect words. Yep, you get to decide. Now you get to line it up. Okay, let's bring out the books again. Last time we told it up.
It's like, how do I challenge myself to be who I said I want to be, which is a forgiving person, is an understanding person, and how do I do that, especially when the world is in your ear? Look, my friends know, they can co-sign for me. I am a forgiving person. Okay. I done been through it. I give chances. I try to understand people, and I definitely have friends in my ear like, why you do that? That's stupid. It's something that's in me that desires to love at that level, because I think that's beautiful.
That's your reward.
Because I want to be loved at that level. I want to be loved beyond the surface of who I am, you know, beyond the perfections or whatever it seems like I am. I want somebody that loves my triggers. I want somebody that loves my hurts, and wants to help me with that wants to not run from me when you see that, but like wants to run to you and like help you heal that. Because that's what we want. Like the places where my dad hurt me, I know I want that loved, you know, and I know I've looked for that in ways that like who the person who loves me, I don't want them to be my dad, but I don't want to leave this earth not feeling that. Whatever that is, I don't want to leave here without it. And I haven't settled without it. And I know that, look, that's my trigger, right? That's what I carry from a childhood place where I want to understand what it means to be like loved and protected and cared for. And that's why we're having this conversation. So I figure out who I need to be, what I'm looking for, how do I get there, or how do I find somebody that is open enough to take that leap with you into the abyss of truth and hurt. And you know, it's time on the clock. I ain't 12, you know what I'm saying? It's like, of course I've had my share of hurts. I've heard my share of disappointments and relationships that failed me, but the first one that failed me was my dad. So I'm constantly looking for something that doesn't hurt.
Absolutely.
Something that doesn't disappoint. And because it consistently disappoints, here I am at the table at the mercy of the court. Like, well, who can we be to not continuously be at the mercy of that type of hurt?
Yes. And I think that's something that's working with that. So while that's going on, I think a lot of men are over here also afraid of the fear of failure. For instance, I'm a Donald Jones. I'm the third of them. You see what I'm saying? And who Donald Jones has been on this earth, as far as my grandfather and my father, is a tremendous force and power. Like there is a lot of pressure that I just put on myself around being me. You know, and like I said, what I've seen my parents, what my father's provided for and done for his wife, and how he has done for us, and then like everybody around him, up to, you know, I've interviewed for jobs for people who used to work for him, and they can't talk about nothing but how much respect they got for him. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, so I know that I've dealt with even feeling the level of inadequacy. Like I'm not ready to be a head of a household because I don't see nothing that looks like that. Or maybe I see all these components, but there's another part. There's this intangible way he is always taking care of things that I'm just like, I don't even know what he did. Like, was it just like, how, you know? And especially when it comes to loving a woman and providing for her and creating that safe space, there was definitely a lot of question and a lot of apprehension around if I'd be successful. Like one thing about us is we're competitive by nature. You know what I'm saying? Our egos are powerful. You know what I'm saying? And even in a selfless space, nobody is interested in failure. And it ain't cool. Like nobody my age, I tell it because I make 39 look great, I think. But even at my age, like it ain't cool making the girls cry, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't say I'm talking to the homies on that one. I'm sorry, but like it ain't cool. Like I don't want to be somebody whose only story is like heartbreak. Like, oh yeah, there's that guy. Here's how that went. You know what I'm saying? So like, and there have been many failures in relationships and love when I was trying to do the right, you know, it was the best way I knew. And now totally not self-expressed, no community, you know what I'm saying? But I was out here trying to emulate a form, you know what I'm saying? And demonstrate some type of power and movement to be the lead and all that, but I ain't even got it yet. It's a form. Like some things you can only get by getting them. And so, you know, at this age, the whole point of that is that, you know, just because I am in a space where I'm single, have not got married, may have different views on what maybe the possibilities of relationship. Like I'm very clear on the integrity that's got to be present for me. Like before I take that step and ask you to take it with me, right? There's got to be a level of integrity in place for me. Like when I'm by myself and you out and I'm thinking, what am I going to do to make this thing, you know, how can I take care of her when she ain't even looking, that takes integrity. And I'm not interested. And I don't know if
You
I
said
speak for
that takes
everybody.
what? Integrity?
Integrity, yes.
It
It takes a
does.
level of integrity.
I think you take us right back to where we need to be with this Black love being revolutionary, because it is integrity. It is the things that sometimes we, of course, we all have had fun playing, kicking it, living our best life. But at some point, like you say, we mature. And I think that integrity has to kick in and for us to build to the next level. You've been incredible because every man isn't open enough to converse and be honest, because I think that's what happens too. I've acknowledged that to myself plenty of times. You pick people that aren't ready. They not ready for that. How can women be smarter about what are the signs? Like, girl, run, he ain't ready. Is it the way he treats you? Should that be your first sign? Or are there ways that the way he's conducting his life, like, how do we know y'all not ready? So that we'll be wise.
I think, and redirect me if the metaphor don't land.
Okay.
But I think that when you transmit a signal, like radios, devices, everything transmitting a signal, right, that needs to connect to other devices, like a radio has to hit your antenna in the car for it to play, right? If something cannot pick up your frequency, then you just won't get no airplay. You won't actually hear yourself reflected. Like, if you're sending a vibe, you're sending a vibration, you're putting your frequency out and you're not hearing it back, that means nothing received it to play it back to you. And at that point, it's just the self-honesty thing, Like, I think all of us are guilty of giving a little more space to ride a little. Maybe it's fun, just to see where it goes, even though we know it ain't going where we want. And yeah, it becomes a matter of, I think, business versus pleasure. Like, is it business to say, I see what I see now? Or is it the pleasure that says, man, hang out for a second? I mean, it ain't what I want exactly, but maybe it could be, or it's just cool.
Yeah.
Right now. And
interesting.
Yeah,
I think we could do better with
go ahead,
that.
I'm sorry.
I think we should know. I think we know across the board that, like, you don't know when you're going into what's going to work or what doesn't. That's not what I'm saying. But I think when we're clear that what intentions are and we still play different cards, I think that becomes where it gets a little confusing. It's like, if the t-shirt says, yo, I ain't interested, that's what the t-shirt says, But if the t-shirt is covered up with a jacket and it show up at the house with some glasses, and you supposed to know that underneath there it said, they're like, why you show up at the house then? I can read a t-shirt. I can't read your mind. I can't read what's covered, but I can read what you tell me. And at that point, then I'm a fool. But a lot of times these situations aren't as black and white as they need to be for people to make honest choices about it, until it's blown up and it's a mess, But if we could continue the honesty up front, like, I ain't even going there because that's not my thing. And I don't have time to hurt his feelings, her feelings, none of that. You know what I mean? It's like, that ain't what I'm on. That ain't my frequency right now. I felt the metaphor. You've been awesome. I got to get Charlotte back in here. I wanted to get Will and Che back in. You've been awesome, though.
Man, tell Charlotte I said what up. That's all I'm saying. What up, Charlotte? You right there anyway. What's happening?
She knows.
Tell bro, I said what's happening, sir. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta recap this with her, but I can't say thank you enough. And I hope that there are some women out here and men, because I think did I give some perspective too, Paul? What you think?
You killed it. I mean, you just enlightened me, but Angie, you absolutely always do. I failed to ever have a conversation with you that's not of substance, that has not advanced my position in life. And so I'm grateful. Thank you for having me. And I love what you're doing. Love the support. You keep it going anytime.
Thank you, Paul. That was beautiful. We'll check you. The Gentlemen's Collective, they're doing things. Did you say something on Tuesdays?
Every Tuesday night, I have the Gentlemen's Talk, which is some kind of like this, except with the collective. We tackle the issues that matter in the areas that are important. And my website is the gentlemenscollectivekc.com. Go to the website. You can jump on the link any Tuesday and come right into the Zoom call.
I love it.
I love to have you.
I love that we did this because I've been on a lot of calls this week that didn't give a call to action. You know, people say we're going to talk about this, but you don't leave in a place where you feel a little more enlightened or involved. I hope that people do, and I love that now there's action. If there are men out there that want to hear more from you, you know, there's a place now that they can go and they can talk about it with other men that want to talk about it, and that helps. Thank you for doing that, because we'll be over here talking to the ladies, and you'll be talking to the men, and let's get information.
Let's come together.
Get information?
Well, soon we'll be actually, it's mostly for the gentlemen, but very soon, if not this upcoming week, we'll be actually having an open discussion with ladies in. But I wanted to have a discussion. I actually have a friend, we've been talking about the impact of finances on relationship and how Black love often struggles because there is not communication available about finances. And so
I had to pick up my church fan.
Well, yeah. That's so good. What happens when you got a boss and you can't handle it? Like, can you accept instruction? Can you let her take the lead at times? And how do I prepare myself to be with her? Like, how do I prepare myself to be like secure enough in who I am to be like, okay, all right, well, babe, you need to go make that deal because that's your area. Yes. And like, I'm gonna sit here, or I'm gonna go for you. You tell me what you send me, I'll go. You see what I'm saying? Like, but that ain't always available because I think.
I hope. Let me know about that because that's what I meant, and I don't know how that comes across when I try to articulate that. I think you said
you did it perfectly.
But it feels like that's what I'm saying. All you want is to be, if you are that type of woman, you have to be with somebody that's secure enough to let you be who you are. So you don't have to feel like you got to be small to be loved. You are who you are. And he, for me, can't be afraid of that or intimidated by that or not inspired by. I don't care about the intimidation because but just be inspired by what I bring. Yes. Even if it's not, you know, the cookie cutter thing, you know, you need that person to be inspired by you. So, and not try to squash it or make it small so that they can feel
so big. It doesn't bother them, or doesn't offend their sensibilities and their ego. I got you.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay,
and you was kicking me out.
She gonna kill us.
Don't kick me out. Yeah,
I'm kicking you out.
I already got my lows, everything. I'm gone. I appreciate you. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. Thank you very much. All right, peace out.
Oh my goodness, you guys. We just went on in, ran our mouth. I don't know if I'm looking to see Charla, you there? Is Chase still there? Is Will there? Who's out there with me? Let me read some of these comments. Don't let me get on folks who've learned to survive unhealthy relationships and how that impacts healthy relationships. Because unpacking the trauma of even unhealthy friendships and non-romantic relationships are how it affects the bond. Wow. I think I just pressed you in, didn't I? Charla, you went out. Come back in. You guys, this was popping. I'm in here sweating. Wow, I almost had a moment. I was like, I know I'm going to look back at this lady like, girl, you just told all your business. But we're here to be honest, you know. And, of course, I love that he challenges us to be authentic and imperfect and still loved. You know, you never want to I don't want to step to the table with nobody coming over here thinking that I'm perfect. I want to be loved. And love isn't asking for perfection. Hi, friend. I'm hot, girl.
Y'all was burning it up.
I'm hot.
That's all. You guys were burning it up. The conversation, as Portia Brown, the realtor, says, was amazing.
Oh, good, y'all.
Amazing. It was needed. It was necessary.
Yeah. I think, and I really felt like we had a breakthrough. He and I got to this point where I was listening to him and he was hearing me, and I think we started to understand each other in different ways. And I think that's what we all want in these relationships as we're dating.
Reciprocity.
We want to get to that place where you listening to me and I'm listening to you, and I'm making adjustments and you're making adjustments. And that's where our power is. That's where the revolution is. There were moments tonight where I got chills because I'm excited about my future, and I'm excited that I shared this energy with the world. So now I can receive it. I can receive, you know, healthy relationships. I can listen. I can learn that how much they need love and how patient I need to be, and they can
Mm-hmm.
stop coming to the table looking for perfect women and not giving us enough space to be, you know, the creatures that we are. So gosh, I learned a lot tonight. Thank you for giving us the space to
Hey,
do it.
this is what was necessary.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, what's the root of a healthy community, and it's Black love, because that is the center of a Black family. So
It really is.
that's what's necessary. That's a building block.
Yeah.
It is truly fundamental.
Yeah. No, that I really felt like hope in a moment that the people here listening and will go back to their relationships with a new concept.
Mhm.
You know, just to practice a little more patience, for the men to practice a little
Mhm.
more responsibility, maturity, a little more intention with who they're picking and how they're moving. And, you know, because there were so many times we asked men questions, they're like, I don't know, we just cheat because we want to. It's like, that's not an answer. And that's not fair to us, because that doesn't give me anything to work with. It doesn't give me any way to
But you
improve.
know, as we said before, sometimes one of the quotes that we talked about, what doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. If it challenges you, it changes you. Sometimes individuals haven't stepped in situations that they've actually been challenged to be changed. So it's that exposure and the growth, because life is organic, right? And we
Yes,
just
ma'am.
move and we grow and we become exposed to certain things, and hopefully along the way, we can become challenged, because we need
Yeah.
challenges in our life so that we can make the change, so that we can become better engagers in life.
That's why we love you, Godmother, because I think I call her Godmother when she's just dropping jewels, because I think you're so right. We have to embrace. I wouldn't be here to even know the questions to ask if I hadn't been challenged in my relationships to become better. And I think some of the men that I have dated, I have challenged them to become better. And whether it all happened during my season or the next, the
Hmm.
challenge, we continue to challenge each other. So we can't look at these moments as they're all working for us, never against us. That's what I got for that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Woo!
That's what it is. The
Y'all, my
adage is
throat hurts. We
iron
talked for like
sharpens
2
iron.
hours.
Yeah, you've been talking for 2 hours, friend.
But it was so good I couldn't
You've been
stop. I wanted
talking.
to get Will and Che back in here, and then we got
Mhm.
into that. But you know, you just
Mhm.
go with the flow. I'm so grateful for the fellas that stop by, because I know it's not easy. And I assured all of them this wasn't a trick bag. I wasn't here to try to
Mhm.
like show you up. I really wanted to hear. I appreciate Che's perspective, because Che is the one
Mhm.
who told me nothing was off limits. I could ask about
Mhm.
anything, and he was open to answering some personal
Yes.
questions. And
Yep.
I appreciate that. And Ill Will gave us such a good, cool perspective. You know, I really respected him. And it's so funny because his memes present one thing, but I felt like his energy did give us a beautiful man who understands what we need. So, what you got for us, girl?
That's all. I don't have anything else. You
Ooh.
guys have wrapped it and done. You've been everywhere we needed to go this evening to talk about Black love and from the male's perspective. So I don't have anything.
I don't either. I see that there's the Gentleman's Collective KC.com.
What I do want to say for the
Gentleman's
Gentleman's
Collective.
Collective, finances is major. So if you get an opportunity to go to that Gentleman's Collective, the majority of divorces, breakups, disarguments are rooted in finance,
Yeah.
because one person is doing one thing with money and somebody else is doing something else. Not necessarily I'm gonna let her go handle her business, but just because we're not communicating about our finances. So that's a very important topic to speak on. So I'm glad that he brought that up.
Yes, girl. It was really good. And I'm loving that in this moment of change, of revolution that's happening all on the ground, that we're all finding ways to be revolutionary, because it doesn't all take place at the march. It takes
Yeah.
place in these conversations that we had tonight, the one that Paul's gonna have the next time, because we gotta learn how to love each other. We gotta learn how to get along. And you know, I love that we're having the summer love series, because love flows from singles, from couples, friendships, interracials, you know, transgender, gay, lesbian, like all these ways that love is flowing that we need to examine, because love is what makes this thing go round. And that's what's going to save us. God, that's the greatest gift we've been given is love. So I'm excited to keep pulling back the pieces. So next week,
I'm not sure what's going on next week, but we'll figure it out. Okay. And when we get to next week, we will be here to celebrate all the things that are happening in the world, and we'll discuss it in our in our kimonos as we kiki.
Yes, yes. Tonight was a kiki. I appreciate you all. I appreciate every guest. Ladies, thank y'all for holding me down. I hope I was representing y'all. I was like in the fire, because I'm like, I don't want to leave out of here without people getting something. You know, sometimes you come and you hear another talk and you're like, well, we know they cheat. Like, we're stating the obvious, but I think we went beyond that. And we really took a leap toward healing. And I really heard each man that spoke. And, you know, it's going to challenge me to be a better woman. Not that I wasn't. But better, and keep striving, because there's always room to grow and you know, become what somebody needs, and somebody becomes what you need. And I love that Will reminded all of us we don't have to look for that. It's gonna find us when we're walking in our truth and being honest about who we are in the world. So yay. Well, may the Lord watch.
All right.
You guys, check us out. We'll be back here next week. Thank you for rolling with us for 2 hours. But it needed 2 hours. We knew it needed 2 hours. So, good night. Good
night.
Good, beautiful Friday night. We love you. Peace, world.